Okay, guys. A couple of points just as we're gathering up. The sights and sounds of this place are very different, of course, from what they would have been back in the day. You can see all these grey rectangles on the ground. They're covered in these stones. That's where barracks would have stood or used to stand. Between 1945 and 1950, the Soviet Union used this. They kept this place open after liberation for their own political enemies, not just Nazis, but also Democrats and socialists. But then, for a decade, this place was left to fall into disrepair. And this was an era of great scarcity, and people would come in here. They would take wood for burning, or for building other materials and all this kind of stuff. And not much of the camp made it through. These barracks did make it through. Some parts of them have been replaced with other bits that they found strewn about the place. We're going to go and visit these barracks later. These rooms are teaching rooms now. That area was the infirmary area. That area was actually a little bit of propaganda, because that was the area that visitors would go to. It was walled off. There's a little pond there, there's a cherry tree, there's some swans with clipped wings wandering around the place. And if you were in the Red Cross and you asked to inspect this camp, they'd say, yeah, no problem, come along. They'd give you show you around this place, say, look, we've got an infirmary, everything's quite nice here. Here's a couple of glasses of cognac. Yeah, sit yourself down, relax. And then they'd let you visit another building which used to stand over there, which was a brothel. One of the few instances of women being held directly in this camp, convicted prostitutes. And they would be held in there for the pleasure of the guards and for visitors. And then these guys would write up their reports, and I've read some of these reports, and you can read between the lines when these guys do these reports. It says, yeah, the conditions in the camp are lovely, but I really think I should go back in a couple of months and just double check everything, make sure that they keep those standards. And that's why, until people realise the full horror of these places, a lot of people thought they were great. A lot of people thought it was okay to have these places. They never saw what would happen out here. They would never hear the sounds, the stamp of boots on the boot testing track, which we'll visit later on. The orders being screamed out, guard dogs barking, gunshots ringing out as people are arbitrarily executed near the electric fence here. They probably wouldn't get a sense of the smell in this place. Now, the smell of this place was overpowering. It's the smell of sweat and toil, of putrefaction, of disease, of human feces, as the Nazis would allow the toilet blocks to overflow. And if you're downwind of the white building beyond the wall there, it's the smell of death, of burning human flesh. If you want to do that, if you want to spend more time here, just let me know. So I'm not waiting for you, and I'll explain to you exactly how to get back. But let's talk about this barracks here. This was part of the camp that was extended strictly for Jewish people. Now, there were two times in the history of this camp in which there were a large number of Jewish people here. The second time was when they were evacuating other camps further east and fetching people through this camp. But the first time was in the immediate aftermath of something called Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass. This is a nationwide wave of violence that the Nazis brought about against Jewish people living in Germany.
Some of it's reconstructed. Yeah. It's a jail within the concentration camp. You can see the door here and the little peephole. prison within a prison.
Socialists, I'm not a socialist, so I did not stand up. Then they came for the Jews, I'm not a Jew, so I did not stand up. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to stand up. It's become one of the, I think one of the most beautiful rights of the man. I'm going to go right here so I can just point it directly, can I? Okay, so you've come through this area. You'll see the double thickness of the walls as you come round here. In this area the doctor greets you and he says, okay, come through to the examination room. You walk through to that room. Okay? He says to you, can you please strip naked? You take off your uniform, you throw it into a pile over in the corner over there. He has a look at you, gives you what appears to be a medical examination, but he's not looking for signs of ill health. He's looking for anything valuable on your body. A gold ring, a glass eye, dentures or a gold tooth. If you have anything of value, he'll put a mark on your shoulder with a pen. And then he'll say, could you please stand against the wall that joins this room here. And there's a measuring device. It's the kind of measuring device you've all seen in doctor's surgeries, you know, where the slider comes down onto your head. What you don't realise is that as it slides down, it exposes a hole between this room and that room, the room that you're standing in. And what you don't know is that waiting in this room is a Sonderkommando, an inmate that's been forced into compliance. Affixed to the wall on a slider is a low caliber pistol. As soon as the light comes through and this guy sees that they're ready, well, at that point the SS officer just steps through, you're standing against the wall, and that's the signal for the man here to pull the trigger. It fires a low caliber bolt into the back of your neck, separates your spine and your cerebral cortex. You're killed instantly by this. Because it's low caliber, low power, there's very rarely an exit wound, there's no mess. But if there is an exit wound and there's blood and stuff, then a couple more Sonderkommando will wait for the sound of your body dropping. They'll come through, they'll drag your feet, used as a memorial. Under the, I'm not sure what's under there, but there is a cellar area down there. That's beneath this. But we're not allowed down there. I've never been.